Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
All of you, please switch on your video.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Only 9 are joining. What happened? Today you have which exam? Maths, psychology. Which one?
Forest Maths.
Okay. All right. So in the last class, we're discussing about the Fleming's right hand rule in order to find out the direction of the electric current, induced current and all. So once again, we can recall all the points and we can continue with the topic, motional EMF. So Vidur, state the law of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction.
The magnitude of EMF in a circuit is equal to the change in rate of change in magnetic flux through the circuit.
Rate of change of magnetic flux associated with the circuit. Okay, good. Then Achyut, mathematical expression.
And epsilon is equal to minus d phi by d.
Okay, very good. Then Dia, Lenz law.
It's equal to BA.
Lenz law. Lenz law gives an idea about why the negative sign comes in the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction.
The polarity of induced EMF is such that it tends to produce a current which is opposite to change in magnetic flux.
Yes, the polarity of the induced EMF always have a tendency to opposes the direction of the magnetic flux associated with it of the circuit. Okay, then Emmanuel, how we can find out the direction of induced current?
Using Fleming's right hand rule.
Then state Fleming's right hand rule.
If we keep our hand mutually perpendicular, the middle finger will show the magnetic field and
Is it correct? Middle finger shows the direction of magnetic field.
induced current.
It shows the direction of induced current. Okay, what about forefinger?
Forefinger don't remember. Thumb shows the direction.
What about forefinger then?
Magnetic field.
Magnetic field. Okay. So according to your Fleming's right hand rule, if you stretch your thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your right hand in your mutually perpendicular direction, such that thumb shows the direction of motion or the force of the conductor, and forefinger shows the direction of magnetic field, and middle finger shows the direction of induced current. And we are already discussed some special cases comes under this Fleming's right hand rule. That is, if the direction, if the area increases, magnetic flux associated with the conductor is increases. In such cases, the direction of the induced current is same as that we are obtained from the Fleming's right hand rule. But if the area decreases, then the magnetic flux associated with that conductor is also decreases. In such cases, the direction of the induced current should be taken as opposite that we are obtained from the Fleming's right hand rule. So that is what we are discussed in our last class, and we are just starting with the new topic, motional EMF. So let us continue with the same. Motional EMF. Motional electromotive force. So in order to explain this motional electromotive force, first of all, we are consider a uniform electric field. And what is the direction of this uniform electric field? What is the direction of this uniform electric field?
Into the board.
It is into the plane of the board. And how we can identify this magnetic field is into the plane of the board. It is directing into the plane of the board. Did you remember that short method in magnetism? How we can identify from this, how we can identify the magnetic field is directing into the plane of the board. How it is possible?
Into means it's directly
The
inward.
cross mark. Here the magnetic field is represented with the help of some cross mark. So this cross mark indicates that our magnetic field is directing into the plane of the board. Instead of this cross mark here, if we are using a dot symbol, if we are representing the magnetic field with the help of a dot symbol, then it is indicating the magnetic field is emerges out of the plane of the board. But here the magnetic field is represented with the help of cross mark. So we can say that here we consider a uniform magnetic field, and the direction of this uniform magnetic field is into the plane of the board. Okay, so now in order to explain the motional EMF, here we already consider a magnetic field that is pointing or directing into the plane of the board. Now we consider a rectangular frame. Now we consider, all of you write. Now we consider a rectangular frame. Now we consider a rectangular frame SMNR. SMNR in this magnetic field, in this uniform magnetic field. Rectangular frame, FRAME, frame. So in order to explain the motional EMF or the motional electromotive force, here we consider a rectangular frame, and here we give the name is it as SMNR. Here we consider a rectangular frame SMNR inside this uniform magnetic field. Now we place another conductor. Now we place another conductor PQ. Now we place another conductor PQ over this rectangular frame such that it is free to move, inside the conductor with a velocity v. So first of all, we consider a rectangular frame SMNR inside this uniform magnetic field. Then we consider another conductor PQ, and it is placed over this rectangular frame SMNR such that this conductor PQ is free to move inside this field with a velocity equal to v. Here we consider another conductor PQ and place it over the rectangular frame SMNR, and this conductor PQ is able to move inside this uniform magnetic field or over the surface of this rectangular frame with a velocity v. Now, the length of the side RS is equal to L. The length of the side of this rectangular frame RS is taken as L. The length of the side RS is equal to L. And the length of the side RQ is taken as X. We are not sure about this distance X, because here the conductor PQ is moving inwards inside this magnetic field. It is moving inwards. So sometimes this distance X can be changes. Okay. Otherwise, we can be taken it as the same length as L. But here this length X is not. We are not sure about the length between R and Q, because here this conductor PQ is free to move inside this uniform magnetic field. And here we are used to move this conductor PQ inside this uniform magnetic field in a inward direction. So whenever it is moving, the length X can be varies. Okay. So here we consider a rectangular frame SMNR, and then over this rectangular frame we place another conductor PQ such that PQ is a movable conductor. It is free to move with a velocity v inside this uniform magnetic field. Then we consider the length of this part RS, the length of the section RS or the length of the portion RS. It is taken as L, and the length of RQ is taken as X. And this X is not constant. It can be vary according to the movement of this conductor PQ. Is it clear? Okay. Now here we know that this PQ, this conductor PQ is able to move, or it is free to move inside this uniform magnetic field with a velocity v. So when it is moving inwards, here we consider the conductor PQ is moving towards this left side. It is moving inwards. When it is moving inwards, what happens to the area of this rectangular frame or area of this portion PQRS? Whenever the conductor PQ with a velocity v is moving inwards, if it is moving inwards, what happens to the area of this portion PQRS?
It decreases.
It is decreases. Whenever the area decreases, what happens to magnetic flux phi through that surface?
Decreases.
Whenever the area decreases, the magnetic flux phi is also decreases. So here we can say that a flux change is occurs, right? Here a magnetic flux is changes. Here whenever the conductor PQ is moving inwards with a velocity v inside this rectangular frame, we can say that the area of the portion PQRS is decreases. And we are already studied in our previous class, whenever the area decreases, the magnetic flux associated with that material is also decreases. Because according to the definition of magnetic flux, we know that magnetic flux means the total number of field lines that is passing through a given material. So if the area decreases, then only a few number of magnetic field lines is passing through that material. So the flux is automatically decreases. So we can start our derivation by considering the flux of that portion PQRS. So all of you write the next step. Magnetic flux associated with the region associated with PQRS. It's enough. Not need to write the region and all. The magnetic flux associated with PQRS is given by, what is the equation for calculating magnetic flux? Phi. BA cos theta, right? Phi is equal to BA cos theta. Phi is equal to B dot A, or we can, since it is a dot product, we can write phi is equal to BA cos theta. And here theta is the angle between magnetic field B and that of the area of the section PQRS. And here the magnetic field and that area of the section PQRS are along the same direction. That is, there is no angle between them. That is, theta is equal to 0. Here the magnetic field and the area of the section PQRS are along the same direction. So is there any angle between them? Here the angle between magnetic field and that of the area of the region PQRS is 0. So theta is equal to 0 degree. So phi is equal to BA cos 0. What is cos 0? Cos 0 is equal to, unmute and say.
1.
Cos 0 is equal to 1. So here we can write phi is equal to BA. Phi is equal to BA. So the magnetic flux associated with the region PQRS is given by phi is equal to BA. That is magnetic field, the product of magnetic field into A. What is A represents? A? Area. A represents the area. Okay. So here we are going to find out the area. We consider the region PQRS. What is the area of this rectangular frame PQRS now? The area of this rectangular portion PQRS. Area of rectangle. Length into breadth. Here one side of the length with L and the other side is with the length with the X. So what will be the area of this region PQRS?
X into L.
X into L, or we can say LX, right? Okay. So here phi is equal to BA, where phi is the magnetic flux, B is the magnetic field, and A is the area. But from figure, we know that area of the region PQRS is given by LX. But area A is equal to side in length into breadth. Here one side is L, other side is X. So area A is equal to L into X. We can say LX. So our equation 1 becomes, what happens to our equation 1? Phi is equal to BLX. Phi is equal to BLX. Equation 1 becomes phi is equal to BLX. We can name it as equation number 2. Phi is equal to BLX. Now, again, we can move to our figure. So here we begin with that. We consider the rectangular frame and we place a conductor named PQ. And this PQ is able to move inside this rectangular frame. It is moving with a velocity V. So as we told earlier, whenever the conductor PQ is moving with a velocity V inside this region, here the area of the region PQRS is decreases and the flux associated with this region is also decreases. So here we can say a flux change is occurs. So whenever the magnetic flux associated with a region is changes, normally one thing is generated there. What's that? Area decreases, flux also decreases. So we can confirm that here the magnetic flux associated with that material is changes. Whenever the magnetic flux associated with a material is changes, one thing is generated or produced in that region. What is that?
EMF.
Yes, it induces an EMF in that region. Okay, because here the conductor PQ is moving inwards with a velocity V. Whenever it is moving with a velocity V inside this region, area decreases. When area decreases, the magnetic flux associated with the region is also decreases. So we can say here the magnetic flux change is occurs. The flux associated with the region P, Q, R, and S changes. When the magnetic flux associated with the region is changes, an EMF is generated there. That generated EMF that we are call it as induced EMF. Okay. So in the next step, you can write due to the change in magnetic flux, an EMF is induced in this region. Due to the change in magnetic flux, an EMF is induced in this region. And that induced EMF is given by, what is the equation for calculating the induced EMF? According to our Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, what is induced EMF? Now, equation for calculating induced EMF.
minus d phi by dt.
LHS of the equation?
E
E.
is
E is equal to minus d phi by dt. E is equal to minus d phi by dt. We can name it as equation number 3. Okay. So due to this movement of the conductor PQ inside this magnetic frame, an EMF is induced, or the rate of change of flux takes place in that region. Area decreases, flux decreases. So we can say the magnetic flux associated with the region is changes. That change in magnetic flux induce an EMF in that region, and that induced EMF is given by the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. It is E is equal to, or we can say epsilon, E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So this is our equation number 3. But what is phi according to our equation number 2? What is phi? Phi is equal to dlx. We can substitute the value of this phi in our equation number 3. Okay. So substitute the value of phi, that is from equation number 2 in equation number 3. It becomes E is equal to minus d by dt of BLX minus d by dt of BLX. Is it clear? Is there any doubt regarding with this step? Any doubt? I can see your faces, all of you. Please switch on your video. Any doubt regarding with this step?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So here the EMF, the induced EMF is given by minus d by dt of BLX. And here B is the magnetic field. It is a constant. L is the length of the region RS. Is it RS? 1 minute, we can check. Yes, it is the length of the region RS. This length is also constant. So we can take it outside. So what is left in this equation? So here the induced EMF E is equal to minus BL, but this distance X is changes. So we can derive here it is dx by dt. E is equal to minus BL into dx by dt. Okay. E is equal to minus BL into dx by dt. What is this dx by dt represents? We can give it as equation number 4. What is dx by dt? What is x? What do you mean by this term x? What x in?
Displacement.
Yes, it is distance. Distance or displacement. Okay, it is distance. We consider that session RQ is as distance. So what is dx by dt? D by dt of x. Rate of change of distance. What do you mean by rate of change of distance? Yes? It is it velocity? Speed. The rate of change of displacement can be taken as velocity, but here the x is the distance. So the rate of change of distance dx by dt is the speed. Speed and velocity in physics, we are used it in the same sense, in the same extent. Only the difference is velocity is the speed itself with a definite direction. Both of them are used as the same extent. Okay. So the speed, and the speed is represented by a Greek letter nu, or we can call it as, don't need to take it as V, it is nu. Okay, so dx by dt is the rate of change of distance. And we know that the rate of change of distance of a body is indicates the speed. It is measuring the rate of motion of an object. So dx by dt is indicate the speed. It is denoted by a letter nu. So in our previous equation, we have a term like this, dx by dt. Dx by dt means distance, rate of change of distance with respect to time. That is nu. So this is our equation number 5. We can substitute the value of dx by dt in our previous equation. That is E is equal to minus BL dx by dt. Instead of this dx by dt, we can substitute it as nu. So the equation becomes E is equal to minus BL into nu. But here, I used to put a negative nu. Do you know the reason why it can be taken as a negative nu? Why it is taken as a negative nu? Because here the conductor PQ is moving inwards. Whenever it is moving inwards, what happens to this distance x? Is it is increase or decrease?
Decrease.
It is decreases. Since here the distance is decreases with respect to time, the speed is also assumed to be decreases. That is why we put a negative sign in that equation. So here the conductor PQ is moving to inwards. It is moving inwards. As it is moving inwards, the distance x seems to be decreases. Since it is decreases, we can say that the speed of the body or the speed of the conductor PQ is also decreases. That is why we put a negative sign there. Okay. So since we put a negative sign to this speed, because here the speed of the conductor decreases. Here the speed of the conductor is decreases with respect to time. So our equation become E is equal to minus BL into minus V or minus nu. What is the equation? Final equation become minus BL into minus nu.
Positive BL.
Positive BL nu. This is our final expression. And this induced EMF is called motional EMF. This induced EMF is called motional EMF. So this is the expression for S.
It is NU, right? Nu.
Yes, new. Pronunciation is new, not mu, new, N-E-W, new. Motional EMF. So this induced EMF, E in this case is called a motional EMF because here this EMF is induced as a result of the motion of the conductor PQ inside this rectangular frame. Is it clear? Okay. So here, as we told earlier, the rectangular frame, here the conductor PQ. Here the conductor PQ is moving with a velocity V inside this rectangular frame. Whenever it is moving inwards, what happens? The distance of this rectangular frame or the distance of the region RQ is decreases. Since the distance decreases, the area of this region PQRS is decreases. So here the magnetic flux decreases. So that decrease in magnetic flux we consider as it in the change in the magnetic flux of the region PQRS. Since the rate of change of magnetic flux takes place here, we can say an EMF is induced. An EMF is induced in this region PQRS. That induced EMF is given by E is equal to BLV. And we know that whenever an EMF is induced in a region, it also generates one more physical quantity. What is that? Whenever an EMF is induced in a material, it will generate current. It will generate a current, and that current is called induced current. Okay, so that is what is the basic principle of this entire chapter. The relative motion between the current or the current conductor and that of the magnet is producing a magnetic field. Then the magnetic flux associated with that conductor is changes. The change in the magnetic flux induces an EMF. That EMF is called induced EMF. And that induced EMF generates a current. That current is called the induced current. So similarly, here also due to the movement of this conductor PQ, what happens? The magnetic flux associated with this region PQRS is changes. It induced an EMF in this region PQRS. We call it as induced EMF. And here we derive an expression for it, that is E is equal to BLV. This induced EMF will generate a current inside this region PQRS. That current is known as induced current. So here I want to find out the direction of induced current. How I can find out the direction of induced current here? How we can find out the direction of induced current? Fleming's right hand rule. Here an EMF is induced. That induced EMF is generated current. That current is called the induced current. And here, in order to find out the direction of induced current, here I am going to apply the Fleming's right hand rule. Here we can apply the Fleming's right hand rule in order to find out the direction of the induced current. So we know that according to our Fleming's right hand rule, if you stretch the thumb, middle finger and forefinger in a mutually perpendicular direction, we know that the forefinger is projecting into the plane of the board, because here the magnetic field, the direction of the magnetic field is into the plane of the board. What about the direction of thumb? Is it to right side or to left side?
Left side.
Left side. Then what about the direction of induced current now?
Downwards.
It is downwards. So here the induced current is downwards. But this actually, it is the original direction of induced current. Here we are needed to apply our special case in the Fleming's right hand rule. Actually, students, in the case of the region PQRS, what happens to the magnetic field? Sorry, not magnetic field. What happens to the area? PQRS. Area is decreases. Area decreases, magnetic flux decreases. So in such cases, what about the direction of the induced current?
Opposite.
Yes, induced current should be taken as opposite to that we are obtained from the Fleming's right hand rule. That is, the direction of the induced current is upwards. It is flowing in this direction from P, S, R and Q. Is it clear? So the actual direction of the induced current in the present case is acting downwards. But the region PQRS, when we are consider the region PQRS, the area decreases. Area decreases means magnetic flux of that region is also decreases. So that is a special case for Fleming's right hand rule. If the area decreases, we must take the direction of the induced current in an opposite direction that we are obtained from that of the Fleming's right hand rule. So the direction of the induced current is changes. Instead of flowing through PQRS, here it is used to flow from PSRQ in the upward direction. Is it clear?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So from where it is not clear to you, Punya?
Special case.
Okay. So in our last class, when we are stating the Fleming's right hand rule, we already discussed two special cases. According to Fleming's right hand rule, we know that whenever we stretch our thumb, forefinger and middle finger, whenever we stretch our thumb, forefinger and that of the middle finger, such that the thumb shows the direction of motion, or it shows the direction of force. And the forefinger shows the direction of the magnetic field. And this middle finger shows the direction of induced current. So here you just consider, this is our magnetic field, okay. And here we know that the magnetic field is projected into the plane of the board, into the plane. So the forefinger is directing into the book, and then the direction of motion is towards left side. So the thumb shows the left side. Then what about the direction of the middle finger? In real case, what about the direction of middle finger? It is
Downward.
Downwards. It is downwards. But in our last class, we are already discussed that a special case for the Fleming's right hand rule. If the area of the given material is decreases, if the area of the given material decreases, the flux associated with the material is also decreases. So in such cases, the direction of the induced current should be taken as opposite to that we are obtained from the Fleming's right-hand rule. So here in the present case, we can see that the region PQRS, whenever the conductor PQ is moving towards left side, the area of the region PQRS seems to be decreases. So here, the direction of the induced current should be taken as opposite to that we are obtained from the Fleming's right-hand rule. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
If the area is increases, suppose you imagine students, if the area is seems to be increases. Okay. So in such cases, we don't need to take that special case and all. Induced current should be the same direction as that we are obtained from that of the Fleming's right-hand rule. But here in this case, the area of the region PQRS seems to be decreases. That is why we take the direction of the induced current exactly opposite that we are obtained from that of the Fleming's right-hand rule. Is it clear? All of you, please switch on your video. Is it clear or not? Okay. So this is what is about the motional EMF. Motional EMF. So today I am only want to take this portion. I know that you have the exam and so many preparations are there. What about the physics revision?